It's bad luck to have the same host 2 days in a row.
Good. You're the host.
So you're the host.
You guys are co-hosts.
Max semifinal day 2 recap.
Yes, sir.
Big day today. Exciting day. Better day.
Yeah,
overall.
I think so.
Yeah, they call it moving day for a reason. There was a lot of shifting in the leaderboard. And I think that
different.
these workouts were pretty exposing, especially the legless rope climb one.
Guys in the back were like sprinting and running their warm-ups, and girls were like doing strict
They're doing
pull-ups.
like strict pull-ups. Yeah. Very different energy before that workout in terms of how they prep for it. Girls side, how'd they do?
Well, Jordan and Danielle were in the same heat, and they were actually neck and neck for probably the first half of the workout. And then around the halfway mark, Jordan got a no rep. So she went up, and I don't know if she missed, but I think she missed, came down one pull and kicked back up and hit. And the judge claimed that she clamped her legs in between that process. So I didn't see it at all. I wasn't sure. And at the end, I was like, she was like,
were you getting a beer?
Yeah, no. I was at the finish line. I just couldn't see that far, but I didn't think there was an issue, so I was very, very confused. But it definitely impacted, I think, also her psychology throughout the rest of the workout. She was very careful not to squeeze her legs and almost changed the way she did it. Not to mention rested a ton. So.
11 rope climbs is substantially more than 10. I mean, it's 10% just mathematically, but I feel like in that format, it's a lot more work to have to do another one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a 10-round workout and you have all of a sudden they're like, you got to do a whole other round, you're like, oh, God.
Well, she ended up winning her, what do you call it? Appeal, yeah. And the thing that kind of sucked was they only gave her 4 seconds back. So they gave her the time it took for her to complete a rope climb, which just doesn't seem right to me. Yeah. And we talked to the head judge, and I had another discussion with someone from CrossFit afterwards. So I don't think anything is going to be changed this weekend. I hope in the future they might reconsider the way they do things. His explanation was basically like, I understand your points, but this is how we do things. So,
I feel like at the minimum, the time it took to do the rep plus the rest before the next rep should be a minimum amount that they would give to you.
Yeah.
But
so that just stung a lot for her. And I think it kind of, like we've talked about it before, like competition, I think obviously is physical, but it's so mental. And those types of things can really feel like it's almost like the world's against me. And I think the best competitors can bounce back from those things, even though, they're tough.
Yeah, it's hard. It takes a lot of momentum to do that, but you've got to.
Danielle was on a great pace, and she just hit a wall. And she started failing, and then it just, once you get to that point with legless rope climbs, you have to wait. You have to wait, and she ended up being the last one on the floor, and Jordan came down because they've trained before. Danielle was at a camp, and Jordan was at a camp, and I don't know exactly what she said to her, but then there kind of was a congregation.
Now there's internet hate,
a social media thing, but anyway, she ended up getting that last rep, which I think was really cool. She finished the sprint before the time cap.
It's cool to finish.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Cal, but just jumping to Frankie also being able to finish under the time cap. I feel like if you get to failure, that's like the little win you can take away, where it's like, oh my God, am I going to just sit here and wait to get time capped? And that getting that last one, I feel like can just be like a moral victory to stay in the weekend. Yeah. Knowing that you're only halfway done with the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was weird. It went from like, oh, this is a severe failure and disappointment to like, I got over it really quickly in the moment and finished the workout, and he was fired up running down the lane at the end.
Yeah.
And like everyone's running their mouth on Instagram about whether or not you should do that or not. And like he clearly liked it, and it helped him, and it helped him pull through. So, it's the athlete's choice on whether or not they like it. Sweet.
Calorina. Yeah.
Yeah. Great job on the event. I mean, in training, she ran a little further and did a higher rope climb, so her time was much slower. And I think she actually got capped in training. It was like right at the 10-minute mark. And when we'd done some testing sets leading into it, she wasn't on pace to be that quick. And she finished 14th in the event and was like around 6 minute range. Yeah. And they looked easier. It was one of those where she like walked away and was like, dang, I have more in the tank. So it was a good boost for her. And she was with the pack on that one.
Yeah, I thought that was solid execution.
Well executed.
Not typically a workout you'd say would be like a Cal special. The lift was.
No, but her pulling looked strong, and it never really slowed down. And I think she was at 4 reps in around 90 seconds. And I was like, slow down. But it's different when like the speed doesn't start to deteriorate. When you like hit that 3rd or 4th rep and you're still trying to hold the pace, even though your body's giving you signals that my speed up the rope is slowing down, you should listen to it. It didn't really come, so it was cool.
Tanner had a tough morning on the workout. I think he had a tough first day. went into the legless workout kind of with expectations like, all right, I'm going to bounce back from him. I'm not going to let day one define me. And it just wasn't the greatest event, which he bounced back from in the afternoon. And I think was a good, just positive headspace thing.
Yeah.
Nothing super notable about the execution other than these fields now are just so fit. And if you try to keep up with the pack and you end up like it being too fast and it's a legless rope climb workout and you get to failure, it's just so penalizing.
Yeah. I mean, the conversation that we'd had also before that was like, he didn't have a lot to lose at this point, so he needed to take some risks. I mean, it wasn't the best score. It was still better than both of his finishes yesterday.
Yeah.
So that is a positive.
Yeah. Moving up.
Yep.
Needleman?
Yeah, Mike and Lee were actually next to each other in both events today, which I think was actually a good push for both of them. So Mike finished in 20th, but he PR'd his time from training. I mean, I actually think he paced it super well because the very last rep was he had to kip a little bit. So, I mean, I think it was a good finish for him. It was just there were some really fast times this week, and I think they're going to continue to get faster with more practice.
I mean, Mike was 3:28. And Lee was 3:02 and was 9th in it.
Yeah, so that's 11 places from 11 seconds.
Yeah.
Lee, I thought, executed really well.
Absolutely.
Rope climbs looked smooth. I think had he been in a later heat for the day, he might have actually been able to go faster, but he PR'd his training time by like 35 or 40 seconds from what he told me. So solid.
Yeah, he's putting up some pretty solid performances. I'm super impressed with his just attack.
Yeah.
You know, like the finish he had yesterday on that last handstand walking over at squat, and then today, like, you know, being in a one of the earlier heats is a pretty large disadvantage because you don't have the momentum of everyone moving fast. For a good competitor, it's good for them. For some, it could throw them off, but I feel like with him, he knows his body well, and it would actually have helped him excel.
Yeah. Jake and Noah are the next two. I feel like the talking points for them on this workout are kind of the same. They both went out there. They both PR'd their training times. That workout is very much dictated just by your legless capacity. I think they both ran their race. They executed it pretty well. I think where Noah was sitting on the leaderboard, he was hoping to finish higher than 10th. He ended up 10th. And what was Jake right behind
18th.
that? 18th?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Jake was like
Jake got
3:21.
3:21.
Oh, he was right at that bubble time too.
Yeah,
it makes a
that
huge
like
difference.
5 to 7 seconds was so important.
Yeah,
and like when you're watching the heat go, you're like he's like right there, and then you look at the leaderboard and you're like, man, all the other heats, there's like 3 or 4 guys that are all like right there times 2 other heats.
That bubble.
Yeah. So.
But they both came off that feeling like positive about it, even if they weren't perfect scores. They were like that. You know that is what it is. It's what I have in that event, and I feel like just getting off of that event without having a no rep or without getting like, you know, having a catastrophe is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Last workout.
Yep.
The longest, best workout ever to watch.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did anyone
3
finish?
heats.
No one finished.
No one finished in the
Wait,
time.
I thought Saxon did.
No,
He didn't?
I don't think so.
Oh, he did finish. That's
He
right.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It ended with the sandbags.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't have to push the torque
No.
tank back?
No.
Oh.
I think he finished.
Okay.
But it was
It was
very
hard. It was hard to
close.
know
Yeah,
because
yeah,
everyone was confused. Like, is he done?
Yeah. But the workout says 4 rounds for time, and it says 80 sandbag
moment,
and
they're like,
80.
whatever.
Just
Someone
jump over
finish,
the
please.
Somebody asked that in the briefing. They clarified it. They said, no, it finishes with the sandbag.
Oh, okay. So there's not an 80
Just
foot.
easier to write that.
Yeah. 4. It's 3 rounds for time of one thing, and then 1 round for time of a different thing.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah. So that wasn't the best event to watch.
No, but I thought that.
But it was
one-
actually a good grinding, separating, like good
Separated,
actual
yes.
CrossFit test.
I think
Yeah.
you need a long event.
for sure.
I don't know. We've talked about like how do you make this more appealing. I'm sure it's a conversation that the event organizers and programmers think about. I think it's hard to make long events appealing.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I mean, I'd rather watch that than a long machine workout, you know.
Yeah.
True.
Than watching them run on the air runner and do air squats.
Right.
So.
We did watch him run on the air.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was like thinking comparison of like the old Murph ones they used to do like in regionals where it was like they're on the air
Triple
runner for-
3 was
Yeah,
a
like,
tough one to
stuff like
watch.
that is what I was thinking.
On there for 30 minutes.
I actually enjoyed watching them run 400 because you could see the cadence, the drop off, and you could tell a lot about where
It's quick
someone
enough,
is in the
too.
workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd they do?
Yeah. Who do we start,
start
with?
with the girls
Yeah,
again?
let's start with the girls.
Ladies first.
So yeah, Jordan and Danielle in the same heat again. Like I said, Jordan was kind of in a tough headspace at that point in time, and I think it impacted her performance a little bit. Danielle, I think actually paced it very well, and she did really well in that workout. I mean, I would kind of expect her to do well because it is like not too much gymnastics, and she has a good engine. I don't remember exactly where she finished, but she seemed really consistent throughout. Her chest bars look great. Yeah, I mean, Jordan definitely didn't have a good finish. I think it's hard, a long, grueling workout like that, when you know you're starting to lose ground, to stay in it, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone was like, that workout just hurts. I mean, I talked to Noah about it in the briefing, and I'm like, I feel like this is like a 5K time trial. Yeah. Your heart rate comes up, you're breathing hard, you just have to stay there the whole time. And that can be really difficult when you're getting no reps on wall balls and you're just not enjoying yourself. But
we were talking about that as the guys were getting ready to go. It was like, if you can get to like the middle of the second round and still be in like within the people you want to be competitive with, it carries so much momentum in the remaining part of it, versus if you get to that point and you're just slightly behind that, it's so hard to kick that extra.
You got
amount.
no rep and you're burning,
it's
it's
super hard to overcome that momentum.
Yeah.
I think, like, just in general, the workout, a huge separator was sandbag cleans. Like, everybody said it was the hardest part.
Yeah.
Some people were getting no rep on, not showing control. And I know for Mike, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but for Mike, he made up a ton of ground.
He's not a girl.
I know, a ton of ground going faster on those, and he picked off 3 people at the end. So, Cal.
Yeah.
Cal. Let's talk about Cal's consistency here. First place, 28th place on the first day. Hold up, which averages to 14th.
Yeah.
She got 14th on the legless rope climb. She got 14th on the Mac mile. Guess what place she's in?
14?
Yes.
Oh my God. Is that what you were smirking about?
Yeah, I was like, what the shit? How's this work? Anyway, she did great in it. I thought, like, she had a few people in the field that she wanted to stay with, and she stayed with them the whole workout. And the conversation we had beforehand was like, this is a workout that is just so easy to check out in little parts. So many little things you do in a long workout like that with a lot of transitions can add up over the course of 25 minutes. So I was like, just be urgent with little things. You get done with the sled, run to the runner, and start walking right away so that you're at least getting it counted and moving. And anyway, yeah, she was tough, and it was like awesome to see her grind. Again, like a really long event, running 80 chest to bars in volume. Not something I would on paper be like, all right, this is one that she could really sink her teeth into. But I think she held her own, and I think it was a good effort and a great finish to the day.
Absolutely.
Solid. To the guys, Tanner. So we talked about Tanner had kind of a tough morning with the legless, and then he came out, and I thought he was in his heat, and he was with the leaders for a good portion of it. I think he fell off like just towards the 3rd or 4th round. He started to fall off that lead pace of his heat.
Yeah.
And then the previous or the subsequent heats are just faster usually. So ended up being 14th, but I think just a more positive end to the day that can maybe swing momentum for a strong final day tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that one looked more like, all right, like I can be competitive with some of the better guys.
Some of these people.
Yeah, it looked more Tanner on some of those, and I was happy to see him have a better finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lee and Mike were next to each other again, and I already talked about Mike, but he kind of came into the day not really sure if he was going to get through the wall balls with his quad and stuff, but I don't think it impacted him too much. And like I said, I think he had a really good kick, which ended up being super important as far as just placements. And then Lee...
They tied, didn't they?
Lee...
It says cap 62 for both of them.
Oh,
but
really?
Lee was 2 points ahead. Anyway, sorry.
I mean, watching Lee, he just looked really consistent. He kind of came out a little bit hotter and probably slowed down towards the end a little bit more. But I feel like he has been also really consistent and very impressive this weekend and really knows how to pace himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a good engine.
Yeah.
Frankie, I don't know where he finished on that workout. I know it wasn't...
It was a tough one for him.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
Yeah, when it was a better finish than the morning, but I think just, moving the sandbag, moving the sled, on the runner, doesn't have long legs. It was just a lot of compounding movements, wall ball. Yeah, just not great movement selection for him on that time domain.
Yeah.
So
all right,
something to work on.
Yeah, Noah and Jake had a great evening. We went into that. I talked to them both before the workout, and I was like, "Look, this is just a grind of a workout. Like people looked like they were getting broken by the end of it, and I was like, you got to get out." You got to be kind of near the lead pace in the beginning, but you can't redline, and you just got to be ready to like really be uncomfortable for 25 minutes. And I don't think looking at that on paper, like when I talk to Noah about the workouts in general, and we try not to have expectations too much, but you can look at movements and be like, oh, these are good for you, and these aren't your best.
Yeah.
I looked at this one and I was thinking like, oh, this is probably going to be the quote unquote weakest one. There's a mile of running in it, 80 wall balls. I don't think either of them think they're like superb runners, but they ended up executing really well. Saxon and Cole seemed to, on the sandbag, start to separate themselves.
Yeah, they were doing touch and go.
Yeah. And then it was like Noah, Dallin Pepper, and Jake were kind of that next wave of athletes the whole time.
Yeah.
And they pushed all the way through the finish. Noah came back. I think he ended up tying with Dallin, and Jake was like just pushed the torque tank across right at the finish, which was an awesome finish.
Dude, Jake had a hell of a finish. It was awesome. He was hungry.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, so it was solid to watch. I think from a point standpoint, that was huge for Noah because it moved him. Like now he's right outside the cut line with 2 workouts that he can execute on tomorrow and like fire in his belly because like he needed to do something big tonight and pulled it out. And Jake, he's probably within striking distance of the last chance. He's probably going to need to absolutely murder tomorrow. But I think this was still just a confidence boost of an end because he went out in a workout that wasn't necessarily something he thought he was going to do well, took 6th, kept himself in it, and really just got like all the points that he could have for the day. So it was definitely a good and rewarding way to end after tomorrow was kind of like tough to stomach.
Yep.
Just like look at the leaderboard and be like, oh shit, now we got
Yesterday.
Sorry. What did I say? Today.
Tomorrow.
I get them confused sometimes.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of tomorrow, we'll see you guys.
Day 3
that's
recap.
all we got. Day 3 recap will maybe be filmed tomorrow or maybe on Monday, but you'll get it some point.
What do they call day 3? Stopping
Ending
day?